Good morning, afternoon, evening, from wherever you are listening. Welcome back to the penultimate Breakevens podcast. My name is Corey, and as always, with me is Jack.
Hello.
Round 23 is over, and so is the Supercoach season. A big congratulations goes out to Jay Peterman, who won the whole competition. So he won 50 grand and a car or something. Yeah, the big 50K. So well done to him. We'd like to thank you all for your ongoing support throughout this whole season. I'll get a bit into that in a second, but you can find us on Twitter at the Breakevens Pod, or on YouTube, search Breakevens Pod and you'll see us there. And if you're not listening on Apple Podcasts, search Breakevens and you'll find us on Apple Podcasts as well. So in today's podcast, we're going to review last round's games, give you our hot and colds. We'll discuss our personal teams and the Breakevens team. We'll quickly go through the Supercoach Finals League, and at the end, I'll let you know what's happening going forward with the Breakevens pod team that season's over. So at the start of the season, I don't think either of us, Jack, expected to achieve what we have this season. It was pretty nuts. So I've just checked, and these are the numbers so far. On Twitter, 251 followers. So to all those followers, if you're not a random Pakistani bot, we thank you for keeping up with our content on YouTube.
We also thank the random Pakistani bots for giving us a follow.
Yes, yes. On YouTube, we've had 11 subscribers, which is 11 more than we expected, and 264 views, which is absolutely nuts. And on Apple Podcasts, we have had our podcasts. I think we've put out 30. This will be 31, but we've had 360 downloads on Apple Podcasts. That is absolutely insane. And we truly are appreciative and want to thank everyone who has tuned in to our podcast this year or who've reached out on Twitter. So thank you to everybody there. Next, we'll go to what happened in the Breakevens Finals League. So the major final saw Ben from Supercoach Insiders beat Dave Swizz to take home the premiership. Well done to Ben on that. And unfortunately, wasn't the ending that Swizz wanted. But he had an incredible season from him. He finished top after the home and away season. So well done to you guys, and hopefully next season we can get you guys back, and hopefully we can beat one of you guys at some stage. But so we'll move on to the minor final, which saw Stan take the chockies from Jabs. So well done to Stan for taking the minor premiership there. A big thank you to everyone who joined the league this year. You are all very worthy opponents, and we hope to see you all back next year. So with all that said and done, Jack, how did you finish off your Supercoach season?
The same as the last 5-6 weeks. I scored 2,184. Vice captain and captain did shit again. Dropped another 2,800 ranks. Finished at 32,419. Had the donut with Hewitt again. Had the usuals, Houston Crisp doing shit. Mills did shit. Kelly did shit. McRae did shit, and I had McRae captain. Witt's got a 90, which isn't great. Then Parker a 94, Canelio a 71, Taranto a 71, and Baker a 90 in my forward line. Obviously did not help. So very poor.
Yep. I copped the donut as well. I scored 2,339, dropped another 938 ranks, which means I finished the season at 16,660th. A bit scary. There's 3 6s in there, Devil. It wasn't the season I had hoped for, but I'm super keen to learn from the mistakes and hopefully get back into that top 3K again next season, like I did last season. Um, Going through the break-evens, break-even scored a reasonable 2,430, which saw 121 rank jump, which meant we finished Jack at 8,756. Which is great, especially from where this team started. We were what 40K.
50K, wasn't it?
No, wasn't that high. It was 40K, and we clawed it back. Um, and I think we'll take a top 9K finish. So we're both pretty happy with that. And yeah, pretty happy with how we managed to climb back up the ranks. So um, well done to us, Jack. All right, that's all said and done. We will go through our hot and colds and the games for this week before we sign off. So, Jack, you had the first game, which was the Lions versus the D's.
I did, and the D's won by 58 points. Getting straight into the hot, Bailey 109 and Neil 104. Now for Melbourne, Jackson 130, but it said he was injured. Um, Oliver 118, Petrarca 117, and Lever 116. In the cold, Berry got injured again. Um, Cam Rayner got suspended and it has been upheld, which disgusting tackle, no bias. Zorko with a 70, Coleman with an 88, and McClug with an 89. And for the D's, obviously Luke Jackson got hurt. Maxie Gorn with a 74, and Hamish's brother Andy got an 83. And that's all I had for that game.
All right, I had Giants versus Freo, which is the next game, and Freo won by 20 points. The only hot for the Giants was Sam Taylor with 149. He could be a smoky next year. Had a very good finish to the season. It'll be interesting to see how he goes under the new coach, which they just signed from your mob, Jack.
Very good coach. I'm very upset.
As we move over to Freo, Will Brody finished with 133, Clark 108, Hamish's brother Andy 105, Dave Mundy finished with 101, Luke Ryan turned up with 100, and the breakout king, who was not the breakout king, Cam Sarong, turned up as well with a flat 100. As we move to the colds for the Giants, coming with a 95, Himmelberg 84, Jack Your Boy Josh Kelly with an 83, Lockie Whitfield 79, Cornelio and Tim Taranto both with 71s, and Tom Green with a 58. And for Freo, Shrek Darcy with an 83, Hayden Young with an 80, and Nat Fife with a 42. As Jack, you move over to the Alistair Clarkson Roos versus the Suns.
And the Suns won by 67. A close one. Getting straight into it. Call with 126. Hugh Greenwood 123.
Oh, look out.
Jai Simpkin 104 and Luke McDonald 101. For the Suns, Swallow 142. Anderson 128. Ellis 108 and Tuk 104. In the colds, Luke Davies Uniac 95. I told you Greenwood was the top scorer over him.
That's like his lowest score for the season at 95, not including when he got knocked out.
And Jared Witz with a 90. And that's all I had. But yeah, finally, last game of the year, Hugh Greenwood top Luke Davies Uniac. I told you so.
Now, Jack, I had an idea for next year.
Okay.
We create the Aidan Bonner Cup, and what we will do is each season we'll collect names of people who have finished in the negatives or below 5. And we'll
But
have
they
an
can't be a sub.
they can't be a sub, that's fair. Unless they're subbed on really early.
Yeah, unless they're subbed on and in the negatives or they've played like 80, 70% game time or something like that.
Yeah.
But if they're subbed on, get the negatives, even if it's 5 minutes, they're in.
But we will showcase this in our last podcast. But it's an idea for next season, and I think you're gonna get behind it. So,
My king, Aiden Potter. My king.
all right. So we'll move over to the next game, which I had, which was the Cats versus the Eagles, and just like the Roos and Suns. Wait, was it Roos and Suns you had? Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
it was a close game, and the Cats won by 85. Blitzars finished for 129. Johnny Segler, 113. Tommy Hawkins, 111. Isaac Smith, 108. Tom Stewart, 106. Joel Selwood, 104. Brad Close, 103. Max Holmes, 100. I'll put Tyson Stengel at 94. For the Eagles, Bailey J. Williams, 127. That is ridiculous. I'm pretty sure he's in the Aiden Bonner club from earlier in the season. He's come out and finished 127. Shannon Hearn 120, Tim Kelly 114, and Jermaine Jones 96. As we move to the Colds, for the Cats, Dangerfield with a 64, Cam Guthrie with a 55, shoulder injury. He's a test for the first week. Tom Atkins 41, and Jake Kolodashtij concussion, and he's to be confirmed. And for West Coast, Luke Shuey 91, Tom Barras 83, and Willie Rioli with a 10. He got subbed out, but because the team's not in finals, it doesn't say what it is, so I don't really give a shit. So Jack, you had the next game, which is the Bombers versus the Tigers.
And the Tigers won by 66 again.
Hey.
Getting straight into the hots for Essendon. Ben Rudden, absolutely robbed. Zach Merritt, 150. Darcy Parish, 103. And for the Tigers, sorry, there's a very long list. Tom Lynch, 132. Dion Prestia, 117. Jaden Short, 114. Dan Rioli, 108. Trent Cotchin, 106. And Jack Ross, 102. I told you Jack Ross, great player. Started the season. And in the colds, we got Jake Stringer injured. I just think he was too scared of the Nank, so he just ran off crying. And Ridley is 64. And for the
Yeah,
Tigers, Vloshun 94 and Nank 82.
yeah. Stringer going off had nothing to do with the Marlon Pickett knee to the back of the head that he accidentally copped.
Nah,
Nah,
not at all.
nah.
Not at all.
And that's all you had for that game.
It is.
Awesome. So I had the Port Adelaide Power versus the Adelaide Crows, and the Port Power won by 56 points. As
Are we going to get to a close game?
I've got one coming up. The Hots for Port. Connor Rosie, 162, went massive. Ollie Wines, 137. Zach Butters, 125. Cull, free agent Amon, 113. Farrell, 108. And Big Charlie Dixon, 102. As we move to the Hots for the Crows, there's only two of them. Rob went 160 and Rory Laird, 133. As we move to the Colds, for Port, Trav Boak, 98. As Jack said at the start, Dan Houston, 73. Finlayson, 34. Pretty sure he was injured. And Georgiades had an injury as well on 39. For the Crows, Dawson, 74. Mitch Hinge, 66. Pretty sure that was an injury. And Ben Keys, 46. Just want to quickly shout out to Mason Redman, Dan Houston, and Adam Sard, all going under bloody 80 and making me lose the draft final. So fuck you guys. But Jack, you'll move on to the next game, which was Hawks versus the Dogs. And that
Yeah.
was a somewhat close-ish game.
Yeah, just before I say that, funny enough, did you see Cole Amon's first offer?
No.
4 years, 700K a year by Hawthorn.
Oh, there you go.
Um, Getting straight into the hots after that. Fun facts with Jack. James Sicily 134, Hardwick 114, and O'Meara 106. For the doggies, Dunkley 127, Adam Treloar 115, Nabont 115, Richards 113, English 102, Bailey Smith 101, Lockie Hunter 100. In the colds, we got Tom Mitchell 83, Dylan Moore 76, and for the doggies, McRae 99, Libba 74, and Vandermeer injured.
Yep, and I'll move on to the closest game of the round and the best game of the round. It was the Blues versus the Pies, and the Mighty Pies kicked the Blues out of finals.
Just in, Nick Dacos has won the NAB Rising Star.
Oh, of course, of
It's
course.
just been announced,
Yeah, they're like,
and the All Australian team's getting announced
yeah. Well,
tonight.
John Newcomb won Best Young Player by voted by the players and coaches. Yeah, fuck off. Anyway, the Pies won by a point and kicked Carlton uh, out of finals by 0.6%. So those Bulldogs players and supporters, you're bloody welcome. But it was Jamie
And I told you
Elliott.
so.
And it was Jamie Elliott again kicking the winning goal, which was absolutely insane. Um, the hots for the Blues, I shouldn't have to put anyone, but I'm going to Adam Cerra 139, Sam Dockley 138, Paddy Cripps 121, and Lewis Young 102. For the Pies, Darcy Moore 127, Josh Dacos 124, Pendles 108, Maynard 106, Jeremy Howe 102, and Noble 100. As we move to the colds, as I said, Sard was 74, Wiedering was 64. I think that might have been an injury as well. For the Pies, Nick Dacos 81, Jordan DeGoey 78, and he's been offered a chance by St Kilda, so we'll see how that plays out. Pat Lipinski 73, Side Bottom 71, Darcy Cameron 64, and Crispy 61. And Jack, you'll take us through the Saints versus the Swans.
Just real quick, what did Jeremy Howe average this year? Because we had a poll at the start of the year.
Yeah, I think it was more than 75, which is what I said. So hang on, let me get it up. Jeremy Howe, which I'm pretty sure he's in the 80s. He's definitely not the highest averaging defender, though.
Yeah, no.
Howe, 84.2.
Or one off. Oh,
Um,
should say 0.8 off.
and he averaged 102 in his last three rounds, which bumped
Take
it
it.
up. Which bumped it up. All right, Jack. Saints versus Swans.
And Swans won by 14, a close one. Ben Long 142, and I believe he was reported.
Okay, I didn't watch the
That
game.
was last week or this week. There was a report with his name. Jack Steele 125, Jack Sinclair 118, and Dan Hanbury 109 in his last game with 30 touches. Fair effort. For the Swans, we got Hayward 121, Rowbottom 116, and Heaney 114. In the cold, we got Seb Ross 85, Rowan Marshall 64, and Battle and Clark both got injured. For the Swans, we got Parker 94, Mills 93, Warner 77, Goulden 74, and Papley was injured.
And that's all you had.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's all of that done. A few things before I sign off. Um, there won't be a podcast until after the grand final. because there's no super coach content. So we're going to have a few weeks off, and then come back for the grand final and go through all of our predictions and stuff. So look out for that. Um, FPL fantasy, we're still posting stuff on that. So make sure you do follow us on Twitter at Breakevens Pod there to see everything there, which I don't think we're doing too great on at the moment because all the good teams are playing like crap. Um, Also, there will be a link go up soon. We're going to do an NBA fantasy draft. It's a 10-person league. So when we get a bit closer, I'll put a post up and see if we can get you guys in. So look out for that. Um, and I think up to that point, we don't need to worry about BBL, so we won't have to worry about that just yet. Um, Yes, so that'll do us for tonight's podcast. Jack, do you have anything else to add?
No.
Alrighty, so as I said, that'll do us for tonight's podcast. Let us know in the YouTube comments or on Twitter what rank did you finish with for this season, um, and were you happy? Were you unhappy? Or was it about right? You know, did you have a whole bunch of injuries which you had to fight back with, which the break even team did, or did you have one of those seasons like Jay Peterman where you just come out, you do everything right, and you finish very high? So let us know on Twitter or on in the YouTube comments. So thank you all again for your support and for listening and watching on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube. As I said, don't forget to hit us up on Twitter at Breakevens Pod and on YouTube. Search Breakevens. We still want to hear from you guys. Doesn't matter what it is. We want to try and keep our page as active as possible over the off season. So good luck to all those people who have their teams in finals. Hopefully you all lose to Collingwood. That would be great. But we will be back for our final podcast after the grand final, as I said before. So on that note, as always, until next time, it's bye for now.
See ya.